Hello and welcome to episode 27 of the Made by Mumino podcast. This is a knitting podcast and my name is Kathryn and this is my little corner of the internet to talk about all things woolly and yarny, all sorts of yarny goodness and test knits I'm working on, that kind of thing. And as usual, I'm filming today from Mönchengladbach in Germany, which is kind of halfway between Dusseldorf and the Dutch border. So it's over on the western side of Germany. And I live here permanently with my partner, although I'm originally from Wales in the UK. So yes, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you for coming back if you're a returning viewer. And a huge welcome if you just found me. So today I've not got a lot to talk to you about, a couple of WIPs in progress, a couple of test knits that I'm working on. We're going to be announcing the giftaway winner for my Podiversary last month, and I did buy some yarn because obviously I need more yarn. If you've been watching me since I started or watching me for a while, I can't resist whenever I do these little yarn tours. So I live really close to, as I said, the Dutch border, so the Netherlands, not too far from Belgium and France and Luxemburg and lots of really beautiful cities in Germany. So often I take advantage of having to go and visit various places by finding a local yarn shop in that area and taking you on a little tour. So often at the end of these episodes there's a little tour of a yarn shop, and today it's in Luxemburg where I found a fantastic yarn shop and I had a lovely visit, and yes, I bought yarn. So that's at the end today, and as with all of my episodes, I put chapters in so you can skip through any bits that you're not interested in or whatever. And also anything I talk about is linked below, as well as all my social media. So I'm on Instagram, Ravelry, Blue Sky, Ko-fi, here obviously, and also my email address is in the show notes if you would like to email me. So yeah, feel free to get in contact and reach out. So yes, grab a coffee or grab a tea or whatever it is that you fancy, depending on if you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, which time zone you're in. It could be something stronger, feel free. Today I've got coffee because it's relatively early in the morning on a Sunday. So I'm in a lazy day kind of mode and looking forward to doing a little bit of work outside on my balcony, what I call my balcony allotment. And yeah, just maybe going for a nice walk in the local park today. And of course some knitting, that goes without saying. We're having really an unseasonably warm spring here in this part of Germany at the moment. It's been beautiful. We even got the grill out yesterday, which I suppose is something that Germans and Brits have in common, that as soon as the weather starts to look a little bit nice, immediately get the grill out or barbecue out. So yeah, we even did that yesterday, which was really, really nice. So yes, today I'm going to start as traditionally as I normally start with what I'm wearing. And today I am wearing, I think you've probably seen this before. This is my No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. No Frills cardigan, sorry, I should say, by Petite Knit. Sorry, I keep having a little coughing fit, so if there's any breaks, it's because I need to cough and have some more coffee. Maybe I should have gone for some peppermint tea or something instead, but anyway. Yes, so today I am wearing my No Frills cardigan from Petite Knit. It's a lovely, simple pattern. You start at the back with the neckband. You start knitting it one way with a little provisional cast on, and then you knit it the other way, and then it's a top-down cardigan construction from that point onwards. When I knit it, I think there were only 4 or 5 sizes, and the largest size was an XL, which is what I made. But I believe that an update was released for that pattern, so that it's a bit more size inclusive, and it goes up to, let me just double check. It goes up to 5XL now, so there's a lot more sizes available for that. But I knit mine quite a few years ago now on 4.5mm needles, which is a US 7, and I held together 2 cones of woolly knit, British wool 4-ply, held together 2 strands of that all the way through, and it made a really, really nice fabric. And I wear this a lot. This comes with me on plane journeys, on train journeys, and it does get a bit of abuse. I tend to roll it up and use it as a pillow and all sorts of things. But as you can see, and I've never debubbled this, the yarn is held up extremely well. As I said to you in my last episode about woolly knit, it's not the softest of yarns, but it's so hard wearing. And as you can see, I'm wearing this on bare skin, so for me this is absolutely fine. But it's barely bobbled at all. It looks really, really good. This colour is called Autumn Glow, and it's a slightly heathered, sort of pinky, reddy sort of colour, and it's just really nice and easy to wear. I will make another one of these at some point. In fact, and I'll talk about this a bit later as well, I think, another podcaster whose name is Bethany. What's the name of her podcast? I think I wrote it down. The Unlikely Pairs KAL that she's running at the moment. What is her name? It's, what's the name of the podcast? Sorry, it's totally gone. Well Loved Knits, that's it. So I think she's based in Belgium. So she's an American, I think, based in Belgium. And she's done a couple of KALs with, in collaboration with Woolyknit. And at the moment it's the Unlikely Pairs KAL that she's running. So if you go to Woolyknit, I think that you can get a discount for putting in a multiple of cones into your basket, but double check on their website and on her podcast for more details. But the point of the KAL, I believe, is to put together 2 different yarns. I don't think this would qualify because it's the same yarn held double, but something I'm knitting later does qualify, totally accidentally, because I found out about the KAL when I'd already split for sleeves, so it's a complete coincidence. But anyway, I digress. This is a really, really nice pattern. It's reasonably beginner friendly. It's the instructions are quite good. It's a very easy knit to wear. As with a raglan cardigan, what you'll often find is that it falls off the shoulders, and that is definitely the case here, but I don't really mind, to be honest. I quite like that kind of relaxed look. I knit mine to pattern. As I said, it was a size XL, and I knit it to just below hip length. If I haven't already done so, I'll put a little picture up here of me wearing it just after I finished it a few years ago. I did put pockets in on this one, but I don't think that I would bother putting pockets on it again, purely because I normally want to keep my phone in my pocket, and it's just too heavy. It just pulls the side of the cardigan down, and I don't really like the look of that. So I don't think I would bother doing that in future, if I'm honest. If you saw my episode last week, you will have seen the Kaiho cardigan, that I finished from Ronja Hakalito. I've decided not to put pockets in that as well. Lots of people pointed out that they'd be really useful and that it's always handy to have somewhere to put things, but I don't buy clothes that don't have pockets in, so my skirts and dresses that I wear have always got a pocket, and I think I think that's enough, and I quite like the silhouette of the cardigan without. So thank you so much for all of your comments and suggestions, but I think I'm probably not going to add pockets to that cardigan. So yes, as I said, this is knit on 4.5mm needles, a US 7. I knit it to pattern. I think I've made some notes on Ravelry, but it was quite early in my using Ravelry, so no, I'm looking at it now. No notes, sorry. But for my size, I used the best part of 2 full cones. It's so handy knitting directly from the cone. There are so few ends to weave in, and because it's really rustic wool, you can split splice it really easily as well. So hardly any ends to weave in. I really like knitting with rustic yarns. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today, because today is a relaxed and lazy Sunday. So I'm wearing a relaxed and lazy outfit. So happy days. Okay, so on to my WIPs. There aren't any FOs today. I have got a little pair of handbag socks that are on the go as well, but I don't think I'll bother showing you those today. I've got lots of other WIPs that I've shown to you in the past that I've kind of just sitting in baskets waiting to be worked on. I think I'll probably do a bit of work on those after I finish these 2 test knits. So the first one that I want to talk to you about is for Anniina Anniina Juuti, and it's a test knit for the Hunaja. This is a beautiful lacy yoke sweater. It's a little bit of cabling, a few little bobbles before you get down to the lacy bit, and then it's just on a really simple A-line construction. I love, 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 love those sleeves. I really, really like how relaxed that is. I'm looking forward to wearing this. So I'm starting with this one because this is also one that I am making in Woolyknits. I'm holding together 2 cones because the suggested yarn is a Finnish wool that's 210 meters per 50 grams. So that's a, you know, it's a slightly thinner fingering weight. But I wasn't happy at all with the gauge that I was getting on 4mm needles, 3.5mm needles. So I'm holding together these 2 cones, as I showed you in the last episode. So these are both Woolyknits, British 4-ply, but as you can see it's quite a skinny yarn. So I'm happy with the gauge that I'm getting with both held together. This one is Blue John Net, which is a really nice navy blue colour, and it's got these little bobbles on it. And this is Pine Forest Green, which is just more of a plain colour. But as you can see, there's little hints and heather of a blue going on in there, to my eyes anyway. So I thought I'd hold these together. And as it so happens, this then qualifies for the KAL that I was telling you about from Well Loved Knits, because they're 2 different colours. So perfect. So I'm holding those together throughout. Now bear in mind that does make a relatively dense fabric. When it blocks, because it's on the cone, it does plump up quite a lot. So just be aware of that. And if you are going to be knitting with this, definitely knit yourself a swatch and block it to make sure that you're happy with this. But yeah, this is what I have got so far. Oh, it's going to look amazing when it's blocked. So this first bit here, we've got some bubbles. I don't know if you can see these. And then we've got some little cables. And then we've got the lace. So I've split for the sleeves, knitting round and round and round on the body. Oh, that looks glorious, doesn't it? Very, very, very happy with that. And with the 2 yarns held together, oh, bless her, and Anniina Juuti commented on, she messaged me on Instagram after she saw the last episode of my my podcast. She said that it reminded her of a peacock colours, and I hadn't seen it before, but absolutely, that amazing, almost like tealy petrol-y colour effect that you're getting by holding the 2 yarns together. It's creating a really, really unique colour, and I love it. This is going to be super easy to wear, and it's going to be a really nice extra layer. So far I've knitted exactly to pattern. So you start off by casting on and knitting flat to do the short rows for a little while, and then you join in the front, and then it's just, you know, yoke construction, round yoke construction all the way. And yeah, now I've split for the sleeves, and my sleeves are sitting on my barber cords waiting to be picked up. So I have to admit, for the last few days I have neglected this one a little bit because I've been working on getting to a sleeve splitting point with my other test knit that I'm working on at the moment as well. So I'm knitting the 4th size, which is because my gauge is coming out slightly big, and also because, how do I put this? I'm smaller here than I am there. So what ends up happening if I knit something that's fitted exactly to my bust size, which is about 120 centimetres, 48 inches or so, I end up that up here it's just too big. So I tend to take an upper bust measurement and go for the size that puts it at around 115 centimetres, something like that. And I find that that fits me a lot better. So that's what I'm knitting. Haven't made any changes to the pattern at all. As you can see, I haven't put the ribbed collar on yet, but I'll go back and do that later. Probably finish the body first, to be honest. Or maybe I'll put the body on barber cords, because then I'll be able to try it on and make sure that I'm happy with the length after I put the collar on. I don't know, I'll see. I don't know, I'll probably be lazy and just knit it exactly to the instructions. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. So this pattern was originally released a couple of years ago in a magazine, and the designer has just made a few changes to it. Put in some bust darts, changed the construction on the shoulders a little bit just to improve the fit. So that's why it's being retested now. I'm not going to do the bust darts because I'm quite happy with that slightly trapezoid shape, the sort of A-line shape of it. And I'm probably going to make it so it's a little bit cropped as well because I'm quite short in the body. So I'm not going to bother doing the bust darts. Well, I've gone past that point anyway, so it's too late. But that's a really nice, interesting shaping option that you've got in there as well, if you want it. So as I said, this is knit on 3.5mm needles, which is a US 4. And for my size, it calls for 1,250 meters of yarn. So obviously I'm going to be using a lot more than that because I'm holding yarn double. But Woolyknit is such a good price point, especially when there's a discount available, that I don't really mind that. I'm going to be going to Wonderwool in Wales, hopefully in April, or I've got flights to go home. I hope we'll go. So I'll probably go with my mum, and Woolyknit will have a stall there, so I might go and check it out and pick up another couple of hanks. We shall see. It's such a useful yarn to have in your stash. If you can't get hold of it, a good equivalent, I suppose, would be something like Holst Super Soft. It's quite similar. There is more spinning oil in the Holst Super Soft though, so it does change its gauge quite a lot when it's blocked. But yeah, it's a really nice workhorse yarn. What else can I say about this? It's very size inclusive. How many sizes are there? It goes up to, there are 9 sizes altogether, and the maximum bust circumference is 163 centimetres or 64.25 inches. So it's nice and size inclusive as well. I'm really enjoying this, but I will admit it's got to the boring stage of just knitting round and round and round, so I just need to, get on with it. I knit when we were driving to Luxemburg. It was a 3-hour drive there and then 3 hours back. So there was a good 6 hours of knitting round and round in circles, which was probably the majority of the body that's been done there. So yeah, perfect. That is the Hunaja Sweater test knit for Anniina Juuti, and I'm really enjoying it. Looking forward to showing you the finished object hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So yeah. Okay. So the second and final WIP that I'm going to talk to you about today is another test knit, and this is the Moon Flowers sweater for knitting for breakfast. If I show you the picture on the pattern first. This is an all-over Colourwork sweater that calls for 5 different colours. In the pattern they have used 100% baby alpaca, and that is 150 meters per 50 grams, so a sport weight yarn. I didn't really want to use alpaca because sometimes I have a bit of a sensitivity to it, and I wanted to go for something that was a really good price point as well, and also choose a yarn that was new to me. But let's talk about the construction first. So this is an all-over Colourwork sweater in stranded Colourwork. And in the yoke, there are at least 5 or 6 rows that are 3 colours held together, knitting 3 colours at the same time. Now, I'm not a traditional colourwork or stranded colourwork knitter at all. I have each of my yarns separate, and I pick them up as I need them. So in theory, it's quite slow going, but it's okay. There are so many different ways of knitting stranded colourwork, and I don't think there is a right way. My mum holds one in her left hand, one in her right hand. I know some people use a ring to do it, so they can pick the different colours and things. I've got my way of doing it, and it involves spreading out my yarn on the sofa and on the footstool in front of me. And that works for me, and that's fine, so just do what works for you. I find that as long as I always keep the dark colour on my right, the dominance works okay for me. But if you're interested in knitting dominance, Very Pink Knits has some good tutorials on that. So I'll put a link for that below, because it does change depending on which hand or which yarn you hold on top, sorry. So yeah, anyway, this is an all over Colourwork sweater. There are 3 options for the sleeves, either short, elbow or 3/4 length. I haven't decided yet. I think I'll probably go for the 3/4 length, but let's see how I go when I'm getting down the sleeves. It's size inclusive. It goes up to a 68.5 inch bust, so 174 centimetres, and I am knitting the 4th size. The pattern is knit on 4mm needles for the body, so a US 6. So it's a reasonably quick knit, and yeah, I wanted to go for something because this is for a sport weight yarn that was quite a good price point, and I wanted to try a yarn that was new to me as well. So I've gone for this. This is Cautiva, I think that's how you say it. It's a Spanish yarn from Wool Dreamers. It's such an interesting company, and quite a few different designers and podcasters have been talking about this yarn over the last couple of years, so I thought I wanted to give it a go. I think they started out life making yarn or processing yarn for using carpets, things like that. It's in the Mancha area of Spain. And they've just branched out into making yarns for hand knitting. And it's just a really interesting yarn to work with. It's got a really short staple length, and it's very kind of felty feeling. I don't mean it's felted, I mean it's just kind of, it's almost got a fluffy feeling to it because of the short staple length. And it's all made with, I think all of their yarns are made with all local sheep wool, which is fantastic. I think that this means captive in Spanish. And it's got a slight marling to it, which makes it a little bit more interesting. But it's 100% local wool. It's a 2-ply. It's 170 meters per 50 grams. So slightly lighter sport weight. And yeah, I've used 5 different colours of this, and I've totally gone out of my comfort zone, big time. So I wanted to go for the effect of, because it's called Moon Flowers, like I had Rose Garden in my head, so I wanted to go for something that evoked that kind of image. So I thought I'll go for 2 different shades of pink. That one's the one that's outside my comfort zone in this pairing. And for the others, I wanted to go for 3 different shades of sort of greeny blue. The one in the middle is the one that's outside my comfort zone, because I wanted to go for something that was a bit kind of yeah, just try something different, because I tend to stick with kind of jewel tones and earth tones because they suit my colouring, I think, anyway. And I just wanted to try something a bit different to see how I got on with it. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so far. So this is my palette. I can hold them all together for you. What? This is my palette. Oh gosh. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. Kinda. And yeah, I'm having fun with it. So this is where I am so far. How cool is that? So as you can see, there's a nice deep collar. You start off with one of the contrast colours to do a single line to just make a bit of interest. And then you go into this to one of your other contrast colours. Do some little, I think they look like rosebuds, little motifs. And then down into the body. So we've got these beautiful, I don't know what you'd call them, kind of these motifs here. They look like vintage bathroom tiles to me. They're gorgeous. And my main colour then is this light green. I'm loving this. This is so much fun. It's kind of a traditional stranded colour work, but using non-traditional, I suppose, colour. Well, I don't know, are they non-traditional colours? I don't know. I'm having loads of fun with this. And it's a nice yarn to work with. And I think when it blocks, it's going to look really nice. So, if you've never done stranded colour work or lace work before, don't be disheartened if your knitting looks a little bit lumpy bumpy, because blocking is, once it's blocked, it totally transforms it. The lace opens up, the colourwork smooths out. It's yeah. So yeah, I'm having fun with this. And I split for sleeves last night, just there. So I've knit just a little bit, more barber cords. And it's really, really gorgeous. So it's nice and easy to split splice. The yarn does break quite easily, actually, because of that short staple length. But as long as you're aware of that, I got tangled up in my little yarn nest I've got going on here the other day, and I broke the yarn. But it split splices back together again really easily, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, there's not really a lot more to say on this. It's a nice pattern, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So you see these little details here. Oh, so cool, right? It's really, really cool. So the deadline for this test knit and for the other one is the end of March. So I'm going to be working on these for the next couple of weeks. And I'm just wondering if I can show you my floats without this falling off the needles. Maybe. You can probably just hear my needles clacking together all the time. You can see my floats in there. So I've left quite long floats on this. Usually I would leave floats for a maximum of 6 or 7 stitches, particularly when I'm knitting for somebody else. I would probably do a maximum of 5 stitches, but for this I've kind of just gone for it. I'm pretty sure it's going to felt together nicely, and I know that I need to be careful when I'm putting it on not to stick my finger through one of the floats or something. So yeah, I've been a bit naughty with this one. I left quite long floats, but I'm enjoying this. And if you have a look on Instagram, there's quite a nice tester pool. There's loads of different colourways that people have gone for. The sort of more muted versions, like in the example. But there's also some much brighter versions as well. And they're really cool. They're really, really nice. I don't think I have anything else to say about this, other than that it's a fun knit. I'm enjoying it, and I love doing colour work. It's one of my favourite things. So I've got lace on one hand that I love doing as well. I've got colour work as well, so I'm a happy Kathryn right now. Yeah, so that is, I think, everything. I feel like I need to say something else, and I can't remember what it is. I think both of these patterns are going to be out in early April, so if you're interested, keep an eye on Knitting for Breakfast and Anniina Juuti's Instagram. But yeah, lovely patterns, and I'm enjoying myself. So let's move on. Okay, so last month it was my 1-year podiversary. I've been making these podcasts for a year now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's a lovely, lovely knitting community, and I'm so grateful for all of the, any comments and likes and shares and things that I get. So thank you so much for liking and subscribing on my channel if you've already done so. I'm not sure how the algorithms on YouTube work, but I hear other people asking for likes and subscribes, so I suppose that it helps. But anyway, so to celebrate my podiversary, I offered a gift voucher for your local yarn shop, and so many people commented that they don't have a local yarn shop because they live in the middle of a national park in Utah, or in the middle of nowhere in Australia or whatever. So yeah, I was quite happy to do a gift voucher for an online shop as well, because, you know, if you don't have a local yarn shop, you don't have a local yarn shop. Also, it's very relative, so I'm happy to drive for probably up to an hour for good yarn. Further, to be honest. So it's all relative. But yes, I asked you to comment LYS or local yarn shop to be entered into the draw with a chance of winning a €20 or equivalent voucher for a yarn shop of your choice. And I will put the winner up here. I did the draw this morning, and the winner was Gert van der Heijden 1372, who made a lovely comment, and they are reasonably local to me in Den Haag in the Netherlands. So yeah, if this is you, please do email me, and we'll sort out a gift voucher for your local yarn shop. So you've said in your comment that it's Cross and Woods in The Hague. So let's see if we can sort that out for you. So yeah, email me. yeah, that was really fun though, and it was so much fun reading all of the comments and all of the really cool names for different yarn shops. I think that was my favourite was in Australia. What was it called? Good Wool Hunting. That's right, Good Wool Hunting. That's marvellous. But yeah, I really do believe that we should celebrate and use our local yarn shops, because use it or lose it. And it's so nice to be able to go somewhere to squish yarn and to chat yarn and to talk about techniques and to meet other people who are, you know, like-minded. I've got a fantastic yarn shop near me. It's not my closest one, but it's the one that I enjoy going to the most. Die Geschenkewerkstatt, that's run by the lovely Iris, and she has a knit night every Friday that runs from 3 till 7, I think, every Friday evening. I haven't been for ages, between Christmas and being ill and other commitments and stuff. I haven't been for months, and I was fully intending to go on Friday, but then I found out that she was at the H&H Messe. What's Messe in English? Trade fair in Cologne, in Köln. So she wasn't running the knit night on Friday. But yeah, hopefully I'll be there next Friday. Feel free to come along if you live in the area. So yeah, celebrate and use your local yarn store. And thank you so much for all of the comments on my last video. I really appreciated it. Sorry, I just had to pause there because one of my neighbours is taking his what's it called, convertible BMW out for a lovely drive, and it's got the noisiest engine you've ever heard, and it was just reversing and idling out of the back there, so I had to pause. Anyway, gave me time to moisturise my hands. I'm not sponsored by anybody for anything, but I only talk about products that I like. But just to say, my sister got me this for Christmas a couple of years ago, this hand balm. It's made by the Great British Bee Co. And this one is the citrus one. She got me another one for Christmas this year. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. I get such dry hands this time of year, and especially knitting with the rustic yarns and things. Sometimes my hands just feel, horrible. So yeah, if you're in the UK and you can get your hands on this, it's good stuff. I'll put a link down in the notes for you as well. But yeah, I think that's all I need to talk about today, all that I want to talk about. So as I said, acquisitions. Duh. So yes, we drove to Luxemburg last Saturday. It was St. David's Day, and we thought we'd do something nice. So St. David's Day is St. David is the patron saint of Wales. Yeah, my partner and I, we drove to Luxemburg last Saturday. It was so random. I was walking down the street, and it's such a beautiful city. Hopefully there was some footage at the beginning as well. And I heard this voice that I recognised, and I turned round, and there was a person that I'd known years ago when I lived in Beijing in China. It got to be 15 years ago, and I heard the voice and turned around. I couldn't believe it. Like, you know when you see somebody out of context and you can't quite place where you know them from. So there was that moment, and then there was just hugs, and it was just, so random. So yeah, so random, walking down a street in a random city in the UK, in Europe, and meeting somebody that you'd known 15 years ago in Asia. It really is a small world. But anyway, so we had a lovely day out in Luxembourg. It's a city, if you live around here, it's well worth visiting. It's very pretty. And I found a gorgeous yarn shop that's not really a yarn shop at all. It's a crafting shop that has everything from leatherworking to painting to basket weaving, anything you can think of, they sell stuff for it. So it's called the Bastel Kiste, which I think means like craft box in German. And they have a lovely yarn department, and the people there were extremely helpful. The owner, whose name escapes me, we had a lovely chat with her. She was actually German, so it was really nice to be able to practice my German as well, which was nice. And yeah, it was a lovely visit. They had so much Noro yarn and other yarns that I'd not come across before. So I picked up a couple of bits and pieces. I have them here. So I picked up 3 skeins of How glorious is that colour? Yeah, you'll know that I like green. How glorious is that? It's like a really chartreuse green, isn't it? This is Noro Sonata, and let's give you the statistics. This is 35% cotton, 25% viscose, 20% silk and 20% polyamide, and it's 360 metres per 100 grams. And I hope I did a better job this time than I did last week when I was talking about another yarn. I don't know where my head was at last episode. I don't know what I was talking about. I was watching it back when I was editing and I just got everything wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, so I've got 3 skeins of this and I'm thinking some kind of summer top. I'm keeping an eye on various designers' Instagrams at the moment because I really, really want to do a test knit for a lacy summer top. So I'm keeping an eye out for the right pattern. If not, I'm thinking maybe the Kutati from Sari Nordland would be a good one for this. Or maybe even make another Pier 39 top. So I did a test knit for Isabel Kramer last summer, and the Pier 39 top is a striped t-shirt. And I think that would work really well with this yarn as well. So yeah, it's just gorgeous. There's something, I don't know why, but Noro yarn always just feels very special. So yeah, 3 skeins of that. And I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be sitting in my stash for too long before it becomes a summer t-shirt or some sort of summer top anyway. So that is that. And my partner also chose some yarn. I love it when he chooses yarn. He chose this, and it was a good choice because I've never knit with this before. If that will stop swinging. There is the label. This is Lanaris, I'm not sure how to say this, yarn. And this is the Barefoot range, and the colourway is called Rhinebeck, and it's a really nice, mild, kind of rusty, orangey, reddy browny sort of colour that's quite autumnal to my mind. But guess what? He wants another hat. So this will become a hat, and actually this will go really, really well with, I made him a Colourwork jumper. What was it? The Nightfall sweater from Maxim Sear for Christmas, and it's got this kind of orangey, rusty colour in it, so I think it'll go really nicely with that. So yeah, I might even cast that on in the next few days. We shall see. I've got quite a lot of projects going on at the moment, so it might wait. But yes, this is a fingering weight yarn. Where is it? So the fibre content is 100% wool, and it is 400 yards or 365 metres, sorry, per 100 grams. So yeah, I think this will make a really nice, probably another Musselburgh, let's be honest. But I've not worked with this before. I've heard of this yarn before, but it seems to be that they, I think it's made in San Diego. It says that it's distributed from Cologne, but I'm pretty sure that it's made in America. The label is over the bit where it says, and that the yarn is, so the wool is sourced in South America and Uruguay. So it's not got the best carbon footprint to be knitting this in Europe, but it's, you know, he really liked the colour, so happy days. So I think that's all I want to talk about today. I hope that you're having a lovely weekend or a lovely day wherever you are, and whichever hemisphere you're in as well. As I said at the beginning, we're definitely getting into spring here, and it's really, really nice to have a bit of sunshine again after a long dark winter. But I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. Please do feel free to stay and enjoy the footage of the Bastel Kiste in Luxemburg. There'll be some footage at the end. And yeah, have a lovely day, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.